JM everyone. I'm Peter from Nearweek, and I'm back with another banger of a Near Protocol Town Hall to tell you everything about what's been going on in the latest month, about the product development around AI and how Near is attacking within this field. We have got a packed program today, as always. Our co-founder Ilya Pulisukin is up. Then we have Alexey Shevchenko from Calyx. We have a LoRa network, Open Forest Protocol, and we're going to end it up with Templar Protocol. So to begin with, Ilya, welcome to the stage, sir.
Thank you very much. Hope everyone had an amazing start of October. We're seeing insane growth across intents. And so let's dive in and see what's on the docket. Let's go to the next slide. All right, we're going to start with some kind of closing up the third quarter and really highlight kind of the ecosystem and what has been done, what the progress been. And then we will go and talk about Q4, where we're focusing, what's on the roadmap, as well as what's in October. All right, let's go to the next slide. So we had a ton of progress on the protocol side. I want to highlight the team there. They've been killing it, although it's not always as visible to the rest of the ecosystem. But Near Protocol team kind of shipped a lot this quarter. We've seen an upgrade to 9 shards from 8, increasing capacity by 12%. We've seen number of validators increasing to 500, effectively allowing to keep decentralizing the network. For those who are not familiar, Near is the only network that kind of align the decentralization and scale. And so as network gets bigger, more shards, we need more validators. And so the idea is that as more capacity, you have more validators. As there's need for more capacities, there's effectively a need for more validators as well. Now, there is one kind of bottleneck that we've historically had since mainnet launch, and this is called state sync. This is when you're spinning up a new node. Historically, you would need to either take a really long time to synchronize your node or download a snapshot from a centralized server. And so the team really fixed this bottleneck. Now there's a decentralized state sync, meaning you can really spin up a node and synchronize from your peers extremely quickly, get your node running. And so I've seen people running it on old laptops, like real validator nodes. So home staking is really live and kicking. I think somebody's trying to do it on a mobile phone as well. And then there's the global contracts. Global contract is this new feature where it allows to deploy a contract once and then refer to it from any other account. This makes multi-sigs, DAOs, kind of MPC, and all kinds of other things really easy, straightforward, and cheap, right? NFTs, where the contract code can only live once. It's also allows to upgrade it kind of in an easy way. And importantly, it also enables sharded contracts, and that's what's coming next. There's a lot of kind of under the surface optimizations that team been doing while preserving chain security. And so a lot of kind of critical path optimizations, just kind of included in Bowen's tweet here, as well as there's work on what we call SPICE. This is separation of consensus and execution. This is really about reducing kind of block time latency while increasing throughput. And so really exciting work. There's progress being made. I think we'll see more and more updates from this. All right, next slide. Now on Near Intents, I'm sure if you're in the ecosystem, you are seeing all the tweets firing up right now. We just had all-time high yesterday. There's 50 million in 24-hour volume, and kind of months over months, there's continuous growth with really kind of stepping, easily 50 to 100% growth months over months. So really exciting. I think we almost at 1.5 bill with 3.2 million kind of swaps or intents being processed. So really accelerating across the board. And important to note, right, there's no incentives, there's no trading competitions. This is pure organic growth, really focused by delivering unique product, right? Assets that you cannot find anywhere, kind of really optimize liquidity. There's no arbitrage as well. So this is not your AMMs, which have just kind of passive volume because people are moving the price up and down. This is really truly kind of intent-driven execution. Next slide. There's a ton of integrations and partnerships that's been announced this quarter. We have, Tron, Stellar, Cardano, Aptos, a few other networks that have been announced, as well as integrations with SwapKit, with Zashi, with IQAI, and more people are building on top of this infrastructure. It's really kind of enabling anyone, anywhere to use any asset, and that's really exciting. The chain abstraction vision really kind of been implemented and now working. And so if we go to the next slide, I'm really excited to see kind of Zcash really rolled out. So Zashi, their wallet, rolled out Zashi Pay, which allows you to pay with your Zcash into anything, right? Be that USDT on Tron, if they accept that, or Bitcoin, or whatever else, right? You can kind of sit in your shielded Zcash and pay into whatever other assets. All right, so this is kind of the chain abstraction that we wanted to deliver, and it's now working kind of across the board, and more applications really adopting it. All right, next slide. We've had kind of a token season. Few tokens launched. One was RIA, which is Ref and Borrow Merge, kind of enabling this borderless DeFi. We've had Public AI, which is a crowdsourcing for machine learning for AI, as well as Jambo, which has been a very community-driven, really kind of igniting out of the conflict in the ecosystem, igniting the spirit of working together. And so really exciting to see this. Obviously, there's still a lot of work on all of those teams to keep pushing forward, but it's exciting to see kind of tokens striving in near. Next slide. There's also DeFi protocols. More Markets has launched, obviously, their XRP strategies, but also just launched their Near strategy, which is 10% higher than your staking rewards. And they already filled in. So by the time I actually saw it, it already was fully filled in. And also Templar launched their mainnet, offering permissionless Bitcoin lending against Bitcoin, as well as Near. And they're going to be launching more assets. They got highlighted in the Bitcoin magazine, right? The OG magazine of crypto, as well as we have, Jambo have their own J1 launch, right? Where there's going to be competitions there. So stay tuned for that. All right, next slide. Now, I also want to highlight Legion. So Legion is really about kind of community coming together towards this vision of open user-owned AI. How are we gonna live in the ASI world and make sure we all are going to Nirvana? And so Legion is about 1 month old. There's about 2,000 members kind of pledged, as well as over 600 that have kind of recorded the location. Their location is anonymous and really about kind of creating communities, local communities around the world. 64 countries, 300 cities, so very distributed, right? And we're just starting here. Now, new updates to the website are coming out, where you can actually request products, as well as lots of new missions coming. There's already some missions for the first level and J1 racing team as well. So lots and lots of happening in Legion. If you're not in Legion right now, I encourage everyone to join, and it's going to become effectively the platform for the community to really engage with each other, with the new projects, with existing products, as well as continue building and bringing our values to the rest of the world. Next slide. For developers, there's a Near Playground. This is something that's very close to my heart because back in 2018, when we were just starting to build Near, one of the first things we did was build an online IDE. And my favorite kind of party in San Francisco where you're pitching near, 2018, right? We're still fundraising, was to pull up my phone, open up an IDE, and launch a smart contract from my phone. Now, because we switched from AssemblyScript at the time to Rust, there was no easy way to do that in a browser, and so we kind of lost that ability. For those who remember, it was called Near Studio. So Near Playground is really bringing back that ability where you can, from your phone, launch a smart contract and showcase kind of how easy it is to develop on Near. So I'm really excited. I'm sure they're going to keep adding more features. I'm really excited about what AI features as well this can have. And so I'm sure we'll see a lot more things coming from this. Next slide. Now, kind of over past quarter, we've been, you maybe seen this over like this year, we've been focusing more and more on products and really how to build these products, enable them to grow, and then also starting to look at institutional adoption, right? And so important part, I think, to kind of recognize the mindset shift. I would say when you're building a blockchain, right, you're really coming kind of from this, like, let's build a neutral space, right, that is everything from everyone. And it's obviously very useful to have that underlying platform, but in this mindset, it's really hard to identify who you should be going after, right? Because you're everything for everyone, which means you don't have any target audience, right? Everybody's your target audience. And so what they've done with Intents is really narrowed down target audience. We said, hey, we're really looking for underserved market, which is this, assets that are usually not in traditional DeFi, right? Zcash, Litecoin, Dodge, even Bitcoin. And how do we serve them, right? Well, we have the stack of technologies. We have, chain signatures. We have Intents. We have ability to build really kind of sophisticated smart contracts. So let's actually target them. Let's build products for them. Let's work with their ecosystems to enable it, right? So it's been target audience differentiation and product innovation. And then as it grows, then you can layer on and expand who you're targeting and the use cases you are doing. And so this is what we've been also doing on the AI side, and we want to continue focusing on this effort, as well as bring kind of into target audience now institutions, because we see obviously crypto is getting a lot more institutionalized across the board, with large players are starting to really play a major role. Now, Legion is where the bottom up, developer, degen community coming together and building it up, and as well as engaging, right? This is where if you're building a startup, Legion is where you can engage with community, get your first 5 users, get feedback, get understanding of what community needs and what features you can build, right? So that's your kind of ecosystem to engage, and we continue kind of as Legion builds more and more tools and more kind of products for community developers and founders to really engage there. Next slide. And so as such, we have for Q4 priorities around continue growing Intents, right? So across product innovation and partnerships, kind of really expand this. We want to have Intents to be this kind of dominant liquidity layer that anyone can tap in, make sure it is kind of the most liquid across all of the assets, and enable kind of this unified market. And then on the other side, we've been kind of had a lot of this prototypes of AI products. And so now we really want to turn them into revenue generating AI products. And so we have kind of, if we would go to next slide, a roadmap across all these pieces. On the protocol side, this quarter really showcasing on testnet 1 million TPS, as well as increasing number of shards to 10. We have sharded smart contracts. So this is something that both is needed for Intents as well as for any application that actually is targeting mass usage. And we have confidential key derivation, which really enables a lot of unique functionality. But importantly, it enables private data for AI use cases, as well as actually can enable private transactions, right? So this is where we can have inside MPC effectively a private key, and public key is not even known to any, it's effectively derived and can be, translated only in specific use cases, right? So, and the example is like when you deposit, you could deposit to a address that is not anyone except you knows that this is Intent's address, right? And so because you can actually have additional layer of privacy as you're using Intents. On the Intent side, there's a core function that can enable a lot more use cases. So this is escrow intents. This is ability to effectively deposit funds and then resolve the intent later and have some dispute resolution mechanism. So this is massive because this is actually what's going to enable e-commerce and like agentic payments and all of the other use cases we talked about. There's a ton of liquidity optimization and features coming to make sure that we are the best place for kind of this unified liquidity layer. So streaming swaps where you can trade large amounts of money. And I know there's like Near Intents actually talking after me. So so I'll let them talk through this, as well as just opening up asset support. Right now it's 117 assets. There should be tens of thousands of assets to be able to trade. Finally, on the AI side, we have an AI chat, a private AI chat product, as well as developer product. We've been testing it with kind of limited amount of users to make sure everything's working, as well as there's still kind of work on the core infrastructure. But we want to release this, get the initial usage, really kind of start scaling this. We have decentralized confidential machine learning, specialized models on the roadmap, as well as autonomous agents, right? Shade agents for market making and asset management, as they're going to be extremely efficient in doing so. All right, next slide, and I'm going to pass it over. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming in October. Just to, a few highlights. We have alpha of private AI chat, House of Stake full launch, as it's been kind of an alpha launch as well. And then Calyx, which is going to be talking later, was their first token launch as well. More projects are launching, which is exciting. And, I encourage everyone to keep trying them, building them, join the Legion. And, if you're building a project, join the Legion and share it there. Get your first users, get your first feedback, iterate, and get it to market. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for that awesome update, Ilya. As you all can see, Near has not slowed down on the pace of shipping, and I am super impressed, to be honest, to see how teams all across the ecosystem keep up the pace of shipping cutting-edge products that also have adoption. And talking about adoption brings us to the next project. We have Mr. Intent, aka Alex Shevchenko, also Mr. Calyx now. And Alex, super excited to hear you share more about what Calyx is. Maybe you're also going to touch a little bit upon Near Intents. But anyway, take it away, my friend.
Thank you very much. If you're able to add the screen sharing to the studio.
1 second.
That I'm sharing.
I'm just gonna stop sharing my own screen, and then I'm gonna add yours.
Thank you.
It's all there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Shevchenko from Aurora and Diffuse Labs. Diffuse Labs is the organization that is building Near Intents. Super happy for all of the adoption of the Near Intents. Super happy to see that lots of people from the ecosystem are supporting the growth and everything that is there. Thank you very much for everything, for the kind words. Today is not going to be the update about Near Intents, though probably I owe one to the community, and will be happily updating it maybe next Near Town Hall. There are quite a lot of things that are in store. Some of the lights have been brought up to you by Ilya around what Diffuse team is working on, but there are much more things in store there. Lots of exciting things that are out there. Today I'm going to talk about a separate project, a project that is built by Aurora, but it is actually closely working on Intents. This is a project that is called Calyx, a cross-chain token launchpad that is built by Aurora and powered by Near Intents. We do believe that that participation in the token sales should be easy and borderless and abstracted. And Calyx was built to make that vision real. We have prepared a very short video for you to just have a very quick look and get a vibe of this project, and then I'm going to continue. Okay, hope it excited you. I'm sorry. And now we're going into Calyx. So what is Calyx? It is the launchpad that lets projects raise capital and launch tokens across multiple chains. So how it does work? Calyx uses Near Intents behind the scenes. It means that for the users who are participating in the token sales, they are able to use any crypto that they already have in order to participate in the sale independently of the chain where the token is launched. Through Near Intents, these tokens are going to be seamlessly converted into the respective token that the project is raising in. So Sol, ETH, USDC, USDT on Tron, meme coins like Trump and Melania, or ADA, just that was added just a couple of days ago. All of this liquidity can be used for the token sales. Users don't need to bridge, they don't need to swap, they don't need to do anything in order to find what is the proper way how to move liquidity towards the target chain. Calyx handles everything invisibly. This really makes the token sales truly chain agnostic, reaching users whenever they are, which is super important for projects that are launching. The features of the Calyx and the things that are making Calyx different in comparison with other launchpads is that, first of all, the seamless cross-chain execution, the one that I mentioned on the previous slide. We have multiple mechanics for the sales. Currently, there are 2 different mechanics, but this list is growing, and the more teams that we are interacting with, the more of these mechanics of the sales are going to be presented. All of the sales are fully handled by the on-chain smart contract. So the sales are happening on-chain. There is no kind of back-end services. Everything is transparent and fully decentralized. Besides that, the smart contracts of the sales, they support vesting, discount, point-based incentives, as well as also KYC if it is needed to some of the projects. So there is quite a lot of features available on the level of the smart contracts, so that the projects that are launching their tokens, they're able to utilize it. We do have a point system, which is called Calyx Rewards Club, and more information about this is going to follow in the future. But it is not gameable. It's not going to incentivize only the people who are actively participating in the token sales. There is a one-click swap API powered widget for cross-chain swaps, and this is actually something that is available for everybody, and you're able to use this swap-in widget and directly put it into your website. Because of the great technology of the OmniBridge that was launched previously this year on Near, tokens that are launched on Calyx, they can become multi-chain through this OmniBridge right from the first day. So previously, when some tokens wanted to become multi-chain tokens, they needed to figure out the bridges, different providers, how they are able to lock and mint and burn their tokens. Now, OmniBridge is handling everything right away out of the box, in a very simple manner. And most importantly, there is no separation of the liquidity in between these chains. Near Intents is powering this management together, integrated with OmniBridge in one very simple and straightforward manner. And Calyx brings a nice interface for launching these tokens. And we are adding something more to this, a feature that we call agentic liquidity, or a programmable market maker. And the idea behind it is that together with Near's Shade agents, teams are able to use, obviously with our help, if it is needed, to launch programmable trading agents that are going to interact with Near Intents through one-click swap API and allow for very interesting mechanics of these markets. And for example, they can punish people who are selling a lot and just provide different prices for these people. This really moves the trade-in aspect of the token launches into a new realm, and take into account that these shade agents can become like fully autonomous agents that are working on chain through the shade agents technology. It really can make a very, very big difference for teams who are looking for something like this. The system is fully audited. The audits are available, and it is QA tested with a vast community of Aurora. So we are pretty sure that everybody are going to have very good experience working with Calyx. The first project to be launched on Calyx is called Intellex. This is a protocol that changes agent memory into a tradable asset. Over the several next days, you will be able to join the stream that Intellex is going to have. They are unlocking these coordination layers for enterprises and AI agents, and I will be participating in this, so inviting everybody to join. This is a real-world enterprise use case. It brings enterprise partners into the Near ecosystem, including very, very big ones. And it shows that programmable liquidity and chain abstraction can support meaningful innovation. The token generation event on Calyx for Intellex token, and the ticker is ITLX, is going to happen on October the 8th. If you're going to go to the Calyx website, you will see all of the information. And this is how it is looking on the Calyx's website. So there are quite a lot of stuff there. There are lots of information about the project there. You can just go to view project and find this dedicated Intellex's page. There are, as I was mentioning, there is a project description, founders information, token details, token allocation, frequently asked questions. And you're also able to set up reminder so that you're not missing TG. Once again, October the 8th is the moment in time when the token sale will start. It is going to take some time. It's not just not on the first come first serve. It is on the first come first serve basis, but there is a soft cap and there is a hard cap. So 50,000 is a soft cap for this project. So if you want to dive deeper into Calyx, visit calyx.xyz to join the Rewards Club. Season 0 is live. Figure out what it is on the website. Follow calyx.xyz on X for announcement, threads, sale drops. Check Calyx docs and see how the platform works and how you from your application are able to interact with Calyx. And don't miss the Intellex token sale on October the 8th. This is the first of many launches to come. We expect them to be happening on Calyx quite a lot. And we are in talks with more than 10 different teams who are launching their tokens this year. And this is a neat little QR code for you if you didn't figure it out, that Calyx is located on calyx.xyz. Thanks, everybody. Big thanks to Near and the development of and that supports us with lots of great technologies, including Near Intents, including Omnia Bridge, chain signatures, MPC, scalability through sharding, and so on. Calyx is built by Aurora, one of the core contributors into the Near ecosystem. This is your launchpad. This is a tool for the Near community to launch tokens, reach users across all of the different chains, and grow projects without any friction. Thanks, everyone, and super stoked to be presenting Calyx here.
Thank you so much for coming, Alex, and presenting Calyx. I couldn't be more excited myself too, and really looking forward to what Calyx is going to bring to the Near ecosystem. And next up, we have Aurora Network. who recently announced their expansion to NEAR. And we got Mike Sakaski here. I'm just going to bring you on stage, Mike. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Going well. Thanks for having me, Peter.
You can either share your screen, Mike, or yeah. Let me know if I change your mind. I'm just going to stop sharing mine so you can present yours.
Let's see.
You might have to reset your browser if it's the first time you're doing it.
All right, system preferences. All right, let me try again. I was trying to share a PDF, but let me see if I can share this with Figma.
Otherwise, you can just send me the file on Telegram and I can walk through the slides if that's easier.
All right.
Oh, here it is. I got you. All right, Mike. Stage is all yours.
All right, perfect. So I'm Mike. I'm head of go-to-market over here at Allura Network. Not to be confused with the previous presenter, which was Aurora. We are Allura. And we are building a decentralized collective intelligence network. The reason behind this is AI progress is currently bottlenecked by decentralization. You have a lot of very centralized models, OpenAI, Anthropic, DeepMind, and they're very resource heavy, dominated by a few firms. What we're building over here is more decentralized, more purpose built, more flexible. And we'll get into exactly how the Allura network works. So the Allura network, it's built for supervised machine learning problems. What that means is there's some sort of defined ground truth that you can reference after some period of time. So something like, what's the price of Bitcoin going to be 1 hour from now? That would be a good fit for the topic or for the network. The network's arranged into topics. So a topic would be, what's the price of Bitcoin going to be an hour from now? And then within that topic, you have two sets of what we call workers. You have inference workers and forecasting workers. The inference workers, those are parties that are running disparate machine learning models that are purpose-built for that defined objective of the topic. So it's not like what you see with a lot of crypto XAI companies where it's just some low-quality GPT wrapper. These are purpose-built models for that defined objective. The people that are running these models, they can do so on whatever sort of hardware that they like. It can be on bare metal, GCP, AWS, DeepIn, it doesn't matter. And then we also support open source and closed source models. So totally agnostic and modular from that point of view. All these inference workers are doing are taking outputs from their models and then submitting it to the network. So that's the inference worker part. The other side of the equation is the forecasters. The forecasters, they have contextual awareness of what the current market conditions are, as well as the history of which models in that topic perform the best under similar market conditions in the past. And just by the nature of models themselves, some models are going to perform best in highly volatile markets, some in sideways markets, some in low volume, some in high volume, et cetera. So those forecasters, they know, all right, which models perform the best under which market conditions? What are the current market conditions now? And then they use that to run a loss function against all the inferences that they received during that round to essentially predict which of those predictions is going to be the most accurate based on their historical accuracy under similar market conditions in the past. So, and then they create a single aggregated answer akin to like a weighted average as the end output. So you're taking inferences from many different models, all for that same topic, all for that same time period, running this loss function against it, and then you have a single aggregated answer as a result. And there's been a lot of academic research coming out the past couple of years. Some of the top universities in the United States, such as like Carnegie Mellon, UC Berkeley, Stanford, they've all published papers stating that the future of AI is likely to be these more narrowly defined models that are using combination with each other to produce a single result. And that's what we see in our own research and testing over here as well, where the output of the network consistently outperforms any of the individual models within it. So this can be for price, volatility, volume, liquidity, fees in a liquidity pool, what the APY of some strategy in LST or LRT is going to be, what interest rates on the lending protocol are going to be. It can even be used for behavioral applications such as like fraud detection, anti-cheat for gaming. So very flexible in terms of what you can produce. And some of the numbers for the network, we currently have over 55 topics that are live. The ones that have been getting the most use, we have price predictions for ETH, BTC, and SOL for 5-minute, 8-hour, 1-day, 7-week predictions. We also just launched a 7-day prediction for the NEAR token as well. We've had close to 300,000 workers participating in the network so far on our testnet, and over 500 million inferences have been submitted over the past year while we've had this testnet running. And I'll get into a little bit of model-centric versus objective-centric. So model-centric, that's what a lot of people think today when you use GPT or Claude. You're using a single model. And basically, what you're asserting is that whatever model you're using is the best model in every context that you plan to use it, which may not always be the case. LLMs, they're very good at doing things like predicting the next word in a sentence. But we can tell you from our own research and testing over here that if you're trying to have them do some sort of financial modeling or financial forecasting, they actually do perform very, very poorly. So objective-centric is what we're focused on, and it's decentralized where anybody can participate. And that basically states that an underlying set of models contribute to this collective optimization of that defined objective. So you're not just always relying on a single model for all context, all situations. You have these forecasters that will make a blend of multiple models, and depending on what the current context is, it will always use the most optimal set for your query. And we'll get a little bit into what we call forge competitions. So forge competitions, you can think about them a little bit like hackathons or model-thons, where we go out to these very large open source AI development communities, and they're able to participate in the network by providing models that are producing inferences for these topics that we have live on the network. If anyone in the audience is familiar with Kaggle, it's somewhat akin to a Kaggle competition. However, there's some differences. Kaggle competitions, they run for a set amount of time, say 2 to 3 months, where people will build models. Then those models get tested off a set of dummy data, so it's not real world data. And then there's this defined end date with the defined prize pool. First place gets 5,000, second place gets 2,500, third place gets 1,000. With Alora and these forge competitions, they're not only continuous, where they will go for as long as they need to go. A lot of them have no end date plan, and you're also able to test these models against real world conditions. So you're not just back testing it against a dummy set of data and trying to optimize for that. You're optimizing for real world conditions as they happen. And the incentives, the rewards that are paid out, it's not just a one-time thing at a set period of time where it gets paid out. These models are continuously paid out based on how well they perform into eternity. And what this means for ML engineers is these decentralized AI networks create a hyper-efficient market where these ML engineers can directly capture value from their contributions to the network. If you have the best model, you're going to receive a lot more weight than models that don't perform as well, and thus you're going to get more rewards than others. And we've announced recently, in the past couple of weeks, a forge competition that we're collaborating with NEAR on. These are for 7-day topics for the price of BTC, ETH, SOL, and the NEAR token. And what this is going to enable is agents that are actually able to perform various sorts of financial strategies at an expert or near expert level. So that's things like trading strategies, whether those are spot trading strategies or perpetual trading strategies, things like automated liquidity management, risk management for protocols, as well as looping strategies. So now that agents don't need to rely on LLMs, as I discussed before, LLMs are very bad at doing things like time series predictions, financial modeling, and financial forecasting. If this isn't replacing an LLM portion of an agent, it's just augmenting that, where you can abstract away the function that the LLM does poorly at, use an API or RPC call to the Alora network to then say, okay, we need to know what the price of the NEAR token is going to be 7 days from now to execute the strategy. It calls the Allora network for that, then goes back down the rest of its workflow. So it's not replacing an LLM. It's basically augmenting it, supercharging it, allowing you to make these very expressive, dynamic, and proactive strategies that you just really haven't seen in the past. A lot of strategies right now in DeFi, pretty much all of them, they're deterministic. They're based off linear math. It's if this happens, then do that. What you're able to do with the Allora network is now you have a high quality forecast of what something is going to be in the future. And then you can be a proactive strategy that has more capital efficiency than what you would see with a strategy that's reactive, which, like I said, is pretty much 100% of the strategies out there in DeFi right now. And we're very excited for teams to start building with these feeds. We're also going to be doing a little bit of an announcement in the future, so stay tuned on how some of these strategies are going to be implemented for users to actually participate, use, and take advantage of. And yeah, hopefully that gave everybody a bit of background on the Allora network and the Forge competitions that we're producing with Near, and really looking forward to seeing what everybody's able to build with these proactive strategies.
Thank you so much for coming, Mike. And I repeat, go check out the Forge competition. What Allora is doing is super interesting, and the integration with Near could not be more interesting. So everyone, go check it out. Next up, we have Open Forest Protocol, and I'm gonna put on their presentation video. So Open Forest Protocol are about to launch their token very soon. They're a decarbonization protocol, and I'm super excited to show this video to you guys. All right, here we go.
One of the co-founders of Open Forest Protocol. So over the next few minutes, I'll share with you how we're using blockchain and Near to bring the world's most valuable, but so far invisible assets, our forests and ecosystems, on-chain. So I guess most of you already know this, but the world's natural assets, our forests, our land, our ecosystems, are really at the foundation of our global economy. And so if we look at the numbers, really the scale of the opportunity becomes super clear. PwC estimates that 58 trillion of the global GDP relies directly on nature, and there's also around 1 billion hectare of land that needs to be restored. And so this is where Open Forest Protocol comes in. We're bringing nature and carbon economy on-chain by turning forests into verifiable and high-value real-world assets. And so by doing so, we unlock liquidity, we unlock transparency and traceability, which are core blockchain principle, which we all know. And this also enables us to direct financing to local communities that are restoring nature on the ground. And really, it's not about creating like new digital assets for nature. It's about meeting a very rapidly growing demand for nature assets that are known as carbon credits. And yet, until now, many restoration projects have been locked out of this market because of very high costs, opaque systems, and also lack of trust. And Open Forest Protocol is really changing that dynamic. We provide projects anywhere in the world of any sizes with the tools to measure, report, and verify their impact on-chain at no upfront costs. So what this means is that a smallholder farmer, indigenous communities, but also local land stewards can finally unlock value from the carbon markets with their restoration projects. And this scale potential is really massive. So we've been building for the past 5 years. It's really, I would say, a long-term project. We're building infrastructure for real-world assets in a very scalable way. Of course, along the way, we've received some support and very deep support from institutions such as the Near Foundation that has been backing us up, and also Uplink from the World Economic Forum, which really recognize the importance of what we're creating today. And of course, there's also your support that means so much to us. And we actually just did an NFT sale this week, and it was sold out in not even 2 minutes. So thank you so much to all of you. There's so much more that's coming up in the next few months. So yeah, please join us if you want to be part of this adventure. Also for you, something to keep in mind that's also super important is that what makes OFP super powerful is that it grows stronger as more assets are onboarded. So this means that the more restoration projects come online, the more nature thrives in the real world, and the more the protocol becomes resilient, valuable, and impactful. Okay, now that you know all this, I'll show you the products that we have developed in the past 5 years. So we have 6 products that are running and live. We have the project operator dashboard and the mobile app that are being used by projects on the ground to collect ground data and tree measurements. We have the validator dashboard that is used by validators to validate this data that is collected on the ground. We have the wallet to manage the OPN and the OCCs. We have an admin dashboard on our side. And then we also have the Atlas, which is kind of like a Google Maps interface. And you can see all the projects that are registered on OFP with all the data that's behind these projects and all the carbon credits that were issued. So I'll show you what the Atlas looks like. So this is like the location of all the projects that we have onboarded right now. You can check the project's exact location and the polygons. You can see all the project's data that is due, all the monitoring data that they've collected on the ground, where they've collected this data, and the tree level data. So tree pictures and tree measurements. And this leads to the creation of the carbon credits, which are real world assets. So a little more details about how it works. So how do we go from field data to revenue distribution and assets? So first of all, the project registers on OFP, and then they need to do ground data collection. So they need to collect tree measurements every 6 months for the first 2 years and every year after. And each time we have a ground data collection that is due, then we have the decentralized network of validators that checks this data and votes on whether or not the data is legitimate or not. If the data is legitimate, this is when we have the calculation of the carbon credits, real world assets that can be issued. And 85% goes back to the forest project. There's 7% that goes to what we call the buffer pool, which is kind of an insurance pool. And then there's 8% that goes back to the protocol. So a little more about where we come from. I've shown you all the products that we have developed. So our story really started in 2021. We, of course, released a white paper, our crypto economics and mechanism design, and we started building. And then in 2022, we released the 2 first products, the project operator dashboard and the field mobile app. And we started the onboarding of forest projects all over the world. And then in 2023, we released the validation dashboard, the Atlas, and the wallet. We also released the issuance mechanism, so the asset issuance mechanism. And in 2024, we got a lot of recognition. So we were named top innovator by the World Economic Forum and Uplink. Our carbon methodology was also reviewed by Renoster, a ratings agency, very well reviewed. And we also onboarded very important clients and projects in the restoration space. And we also was the winner of the Tech for Regen Accelerator. And in 2025, a lot also has been going on. A lot of onboarding is happening right now, of onboarding of projects. We're also partnering with Ghana to be an official standard in this country. We have projects also with Pakistan, and we had a contract with a development agency here in Switzerland for projects in Peru. So yeah, a lot is happening, and a lot will happen in the next few months and years, of course. In terms of traction, so we currently have more than 300 projects registered for about 30,000 hectares, and we have way more also in the pipeline. We're currently evaluating more than 250,000 hectares, So these will be coming up pretty soon on OFP. Of course, all this would not have been possible without the support of our investors. So our investors are basically a mix of blockchain investors, but also climate and impact investors. So it's a perfect mix for us. And yeah, we thank them very much for the continued support. We wouldn't have been able to do this without them. And finally, you might be asking, okay, what is the OPN token? What does it do? And so on. So the OPN token is really the native utility token that powers the decentralized network designed to verify, validate, and support the nature-based projects that we have on our platform. And so by being an OPN token holder, of course, you're supporting forest projects and nature restoration. You can also hold for long term and really align with the protocol's growth as we scale the ecosystem. You can delegate to validators. And so you're basically indirectly validating the data of the project that is collected on the ground, and you also participate to the reward pool. And you can also plant your token to participate in the protocol fee distribution. So these are all options that are available to you to our ecosystem. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure presenting OFP today. Please join us, check our website, join our Telegram group, join us also on X. And yeah, we look forward to welcoming you in our ecosystem. Thank you very much.
That was all from Open Forest Protocol for now. Last presenter at Town Hall today are the legends, the Cypher legends of the Templar Protocol. I'm going to bring Royal Fool to the stage, and he'll tell you much more about what they're cooking. Are you there, my friend?
Yep, I'm here. Thank you, Peter.
All right. Let me know when to change the slide.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. Yep. Could you change the slide, please? All right. So on September 22nd, we launched public mainnet with support for native Bitcoin and the ability to borrow USDC on Near. We also support staked Near and USDC as an isolated market. And within the past week, we have launched support for native Bitcoin and USDC on ETH, as well as wrapped Bitcoin and USDC on ETH as well. So, you know, we're pretty excited to bring Cypher lending into reality for the public, where you can borrow against your native Bitcoin without trusting centralized intermediaries. So we got some pretty great coverage as well from Bitcoin Magazine. So please go check out our announcement on X and Bitcoin Magazine. Next slide, please. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to do a demo. And you all can check out the live app at app.templarfi.org. And I'm going to share my screen here. Okay.
It's up and running. I love it. Live demos. Awesome.
Live demo. Okay. Cool. So we're going to start off on the My Account page here. And we support both native NEP 141 assets as well as the NEP 245 assets. Building on top of Intents. Thank you to Alex Shevchenko and the Intents team, as well as the Chain Signatures protocol team, for helping us out with the tech that we're building on top of. So as you can see here, we have both the balances of the native Near assets, as well as assets that live on other chains here. So for demo purposes, we have some Ethereum assets that are represented as just like any other NEP 141 asset, thanks to Intents here. And with the 4 markets that we currently have, you can borrow native USDC on Near against native Bitcoin. You can borrow USDC on ETH against native Bitcoin, as well as like USDC on ETH against wrapped Bitcoin as well. What's not shown here is like the staked Near that you can borrow against for USDC on Near, as well as like the supply positions. So you can both borrow and lend or supply the assets. So let's try out a borrow here. So as we see, we can choose our collateral asset. Let's do a borrow against staked Near, and then it will be the USDC on Near here. Continue, and just click the max. We can adjust the collateral ratio as we best see fit. So let's do a bit more of a conservative one here. Continue. Read the terms and conditions, everything's good. And then when we borrow. And this should bring up a wallet page that unfortunately isn't showing on the presentation, but I'm signing a transaction right now to do the borrow. So what this is doing is it's taking the staked Near, it's putting that up as collateral, and then it's crediting the USDC to my account here. So that's been done. You can check out the Near Blocks transaction to see that everything went as expected. Got the borrow, and let's go view our loan here. So now, as you can see, we have this new borrow position of the staked Near as collateral, and then borrowing the USDC on Near. All right, so that's good. Let's try a multi-chain borrow now. So just for ease of the demo, I have already deposited the wrapped Bitcoin into Intents. You can just go to like nearintents.org, and we can see that is also the case just in our account here. So based off of the just using the Near Intents deposit framework, it's another way to get the assets in, as well as the withdrawal, because this is what we're using behind the scenes. So let's do another borrow with the multi-chain assets. Let's do wrapped Bitcoin and the USDC on ETH. All right. Now we'll copy over, I think. This might be, I think this is how much wrapped Bitcoin I have, 0.0002. Bitcoin's at such a high price, it's sometimes hard to get all the decimals right. Well, let's go in here. And as you can see, because the wrapped Bitcoin has already been deposited in here, we don't need to send the deposit, because sometimes that can take a little bit while waiting for the block confirmations on ETH and especially Bitcoin. So that's already been done. So we can confirm and borrow. So what this is doing is it's taking the wrapped Bitcoin that is currently on Intents, and that is transferring the ownership of that wrapped Bitcoin to the Templar contract. And that is being held as collateral. And then we're releasing the USDC on ETH within the Intents framework. So that's all done. Now we can view the loan. And here's our USDC on ETH balance. So if we click on that, we can withdraw that USDC to an Ethereum wallet now. right? So we can paste in an Ethereum wallet address, and we can just withdraw that to our ETH wallet. And boom, we have a multi-chain lending using both of those are native Ethereum assets that we're able to have both as collateral and as the asset that gets borrowed. So that's completed now. We can view the destination transaction here on Etherscan, and that has been sent to our ETH wallet. So let's go over some future additions to the product. We are adding support for passkey wallets, so the user doesn't need to have a Near wallet. They can just come in and start using Templar, even just from an exchange account. So from their exchange account, they can send their Bitcoin to the Templar deposit address, and then they can sign the transactions on Near using the passkey enabled by MetaTransaction relayers. And then they can borrow, say, USDC on Near or USDC on ETH, and that can just go directly back to their exchange address. So there's no MetaMask wallet or anything like that that will even be required. We will also add support for EIP 712 message signing as another alternative to having an Near account. So this is helpful in the case of institutional borrowers and lenders. They can just interact with Templar as if it's an ETH contract. So the way that works is they send and receive, Bitcoin or ERC20 assets. And then for the actual signing of Near transactions, what happens is there's a message, and this message standard is used both for like signing into applications, as well as sending off-chain messages. So if you've used CowSwap, which is like an Ethereum intense framework, it's a similar technology. And that signed message goes to our relayer, and that contains the data necessary in order to create a Near transaction. So this way we can have people just use an Ethereum wallet in order to interact with Near smart contracts. So we'll both have support for kind of a walletless flow using the passkey, as well as just using your Ethereum wallet. We'll have support rolling out for Stellar and Cardano assets as well, and as well as looking towards the end of the year, Solana assets, and being able to do just the connecting of like a Phantom wallet, where you can sign messages on Solana, and those get relayed to Near as Near transactions. So we're super excited to support this extra functionality where we're bringing chain abstraction to life, both in the assets that we use as well as in the user experience. So yeah, please go check us out at app.templarfi.org, and borrow, lend, give us feedback on X, follow us at Templar Protocol, and we look forward to hearing about your experiences. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, Ralph Poole. As the man said, go check Templar Protocol out on X, go check out the application, play around with it. Remember that what was just presented, of course, is not financial advice. It comes with certain risks, but this product is seriously awesome, and super excited to see the functionality of it evolve, and just keeping that shipping progress and speed up to date. Big shout out to the team. So we're almost at the end of the town hall. Just want to end it off by giving people a reminder about the Near Legion. So as Ilya pointed out, this is where the community comes to life. The Near Legion missions are going live soon, and I highly encourage people to join the Legion and join the Telegram group, mint your Soulbound token, and become a part of an ever-growing community. This is where the energy of the Near ecosystem is right now. And also, don't forget to submit your questions for the monthly mailbag. You can ask any question about the Near ecosystem in the Legion Telegram group, and answers are coming this Friday. Lastly, all there's left to say is Near is where users own AI. It's where AI agents coordinate and the agentic internet scales. As you've seen from all these presentations, this is where, the magic is happening. This is where we're putting blockchain technology into action and showcasing what this amazing technology can actually do in the real world. The Near community is grinding, building, and showing the world what's possible. I want to give a huge shout out to every dev, founder, and community contributor who's pushing the Near ecosystem and pushing this vision forward. Near is not just a protocol, it's a movement for truly user-owned AI and everything that the blockchain can power in that regard. As always, none of what is just represented is financial advice. You should do your own research, you should use your own judgment, but if you're paying attention, you know where the signal is. Remember to subscribe to Near Week to stay in the loop, and if you're building something amazing, please ping us or hit us up on X or Telegram. We would love to bring you on this stage. This is a stage for the community to come present what they are doing. All right, see you next month. Keep building, stay AI, and remember, the future runs on Near. See you all.
Thanks for watching. Truly open AI is Near. Follow Near Protocol. Subscribe to Near Week.